Is everyone ready to get into the last segment here? Construction documents. Some of this we've covered. I'll review briefly. Creating sheets. Again, here in our project browser, we can right click and create a new sheet. To add views to that sheet, we just drag and drop from our project browser. So maybe some of these 3D views that we've created, we can drag and drop and add them to our browser or to our sheet. You can't duplicate views on more than one sheet. So each view can only be placed on one sheet in your project, in your set. So if you need to duplicate something that you're already showing in one view, you need to create another view to show that. What was that floor plan? Everything. All right, where is my floor plan view? Where's floor one? That's way big. Okay, so turn our site off. That's one. Okay, so you just drag and drop them on the sheet and move them around. We already looked at changing the numbering here, so you can change how those are numbered. These views, let me switch over to a template. It's a little more typical of what you'll see. Create a new sheet. You can drag. That's bad. Each view has got a view title associated with it. So down here at the bottom, I've got a view title. By default, they're going to show the view name, the scale, and the number. And the number can't be repeated on a sheet, but you can change it to anything you want as long as you don't repeat. The view name will show the name of the view unless you have a specific title on sheet defined. So if I jump over to this level 1 view here, and in its properties, there's a title on sheet. So if I call this floor plan level 1 instead of just level 1, when I go back to that sheet and look at that view title, that's going to show me that title there. So it's pretty basic stuff. Annotations, we looked at adding annotations to details already. Want to look at 2 different kinds of views that we haven't really looked at up to this point, and those are legends and schedules. So legends are similar, in a way they're similar to a drafting view, in that it is a 2D view that exists in the project that doesn't show a view of the model. Okay, so here on my view ribbon, I can create a legend view. Okay, and give it a name and choose a scale. In this legend view, I can use my annotation tools and draft anything that I want to show in my legend. Now there's one specific tool that I can use in legend view, and that is this legend component here on my annotate in the detail window under component. I can choose legend component, and what that lets me do is here in my option bar, I've got a list of all of the components in my project, Okay, so let's choose a wall, for example. I can choose if I want to show it in floor plan or in section view, and give it a length. Let's just give it a length, 5 feet. And when I change my detail level, there is a section of my wall in this legend view that I could annotate. I could copy this and maybe have 2 or 3 of these here, and change some of these copies to some of these other different wall types. And I could go through and add notes and dimensions, you know, whatever the case may be, to annotate what these wall types are. And then this legend, let's call this, rename this, call this wall legend. Okay. Then let's get rid of that. This wall legend I can place on my sheet. And what's special about legend views, I can place them on more than one sheet. Okay, so if I have multiple sheets that I want to create a legend on, I can create that legend once and repeat it on multiple sheets. So maybe a wall legend, or legend of different symbols that you're using for some analysis, or light fixture symbols is common practice to use a legend for those kinds of things. So good tool to use to repeat that kind of information. Okay. The other tool, and you asked about it, and I said we'd get into it, so we'll dig into schedules a little bit here, are schedules. So let's go back to our sample project and back to our colored floor plan. Let's just get place as any. Okay. So to create a schedule, go to the view ribbon, and under create, we can create a new schedule, and there's some different options here. We're going to work with the first one, the schedule / quantities. Okay, so the first thing we do when we define this schedule is choose the category of stuff that we want to schedule. Okay, so here's all the different categories. Actually, this is just the architectural category. So pretty much any element you place in Revit, you can schedule it, quantify it, communicate things about it. There's different ways to edit some of this information. So let's we'll look at rooms. We'll let it give this default name here. Okay. Then we have this multi-tab dialog here to define what our schedule is going to look like. So the first tab here are the fields that are in our schedule. So we're looking at rooms. We might want maybe the level, maybe the room number, the room name, maybe the department. Let's add the perimeter in there. And an area. Okay, so let's just look at what that gives us. Okay, so the schedule here, when we look at the schedule in Revit, when we open the schedule, it gives us this kind of data sheet view. It's almost kind of like a spreadsheet with just a view of the data. It's going to look a little different when we place it on a sheet. So we've got a little bit of control over that. So we can see we've got all the rooms in our project. They're not really sorted in any way, shape, or form. This is just one single floor project, so level is all level, but the numbers are not in any kind of order. It's just giving me all that raw data. So start to organize that a little bit. We can get back into our schedule properties. First thing I want to do is to do some sorting and grouping. Okay, so if this building had multiple levels, I'd maybe want to sort by level first, and then sort by number, and I'm probably good with that as a starting point. So you can see now, instead of these numbers just being random, now they're in order. I can start to format this thing a little bit by, okay, let's let this level have a header here in the schedule, and I don't necessarily need to see that repeated on every row. I just want to see these are all the first floor, and I can right click in that column and hide that column. So it still tells me it's the first floor, but it doesn't repeat that information on every floor, on every row in my schedule. Okay. One of the nice things about working with schedules, and I mentioned that key point about computable information, and you can start to do that in schedules by letting Revit do some calculations for you. So for example, I'm just going to fill in some make up some departments here so we can sort this out a little bit. Okay, that's good. So instead of just sorting this by room number, let's look at how we can let this schedule help us with some calculations and help us fill in some data a little bit. So I'm going to change my sorting here. Instead of sorting on level and the number, I'm going to sort by department. Just by department first, and you can see it's changed and grouped those things by those departments. Okay. And if right now it's showing me based on this sorting, it's showing me every line item in the model, because I've asked it to itemize every instance. If I uncheck that, it's still going to sort on the department, but it's only going to give me every instance of that is unique. So you'll see here, should department, oh, now it's number. Take the number off. So it's still showing me my four unique departments. But it's not showing me every room, and I've done this. Now I can fill in all those that were blank, and when I change this back to itemize every instance, now it's filled in all those fields for me. Okay, I can have it calculate some totals. So if I want a total area on here. On my next tab over, the formatting, I can pick my area field down here and ask it to calculate the totals. When I do that, I also need to tell it that I want a grand total at the bottom, and I want a total in my footer for each department. Okay, so now I know the area for each department. and I've got a total area down here at the bottom. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. Let's look at what this looks like when I place it on a sheet. So I'm going to jump over to a sheet and just drag and drop this onto my sheet. And I can control the column width with these little controls up at the top and push and pull those to get those the widths that I need. You can see it looks a little different. We got a little bit of control over that. If we go back to the data view and go to the appearance tab, so it's a little limited as to how much formatting you can do. You can add some different grid lines here and change some weights of those things. Turn your headers and your titles on and off, and change some different some text for those different categories. It is fairly limited. Let's just see what that looks like. But with a little work, you can get it looking a little bit better than what is just out of the box. Okay. Now I want to do some. I want to use this to do some calculations here, and I'm actually going to jump over to a little better sample than this. I can find it. So this sample that I'm going to look at here takes some areas, schedules some areas, and then run some calculations to do some occupant load analysis based on building code requirements. So this is something that historically, an architect would need to do some area takeoffs on the plan and sit down with a notepad or a spreadsheet and kind of run through some of these calculations. And here we've got we can have this tool do some of this work for us. So I've got some areas to find here, and I have them scheduled. And let's look at this schedule where we've got all these different spaces. We've got the area of each space, and this is set up so that we can choose what the construction type and the occupancy is. And what I really want to show is that each of those has a different load factor. So for an assembly space, for office areas or stage space or seating space, there's different factors prescribed for those that generate the occupant load requirement that relate to the number of exits you need, the number of bathrooms you need, the width of your doors, the width of your stairs, all that kind of stuff. And Revit is doing that calculation for us. If we come in here and look at this occupant load, it's taking the area that's coming directly from the model, running this calculation, dividing it by the load factor and generating that. So if we make a change to our floor plan here and change how much area is in this space, that area is dynamically updated here, and the occupant load changes here automatically. So our requirements are in sync with what our model is, and Revit's doing that calculation for us. Does everyone follow that? Anyone have any questions? Okay, so a few different look at some different schedules. You know, you can we talked about scheduling floors or furniture. Let's look at let's look at furniture schedule. So you know, here we can schedule family and type and have a mark, and also a count and sort that, so we can generate, you know, a schedule for the number of different things in our project. Okay, and this is we're using that count field. That count field automatically knows when, based on our sorting, that it's going to total up. So, you know, and this, we could use this for light fixtures or whatever the case may be, to get an idea of the quantity of things in our project. Okay. A lot of times there's cases when we want to schedule things of different categories, so we can generate a multi-category schedule here. Okay, it's gonna limit our available fields a little bit. In one sense, it's only going to give us fields that are common to some different categories. It's given all these different things. It's kind of strange, but we can start to, you know, if we want to start to quantify some things on our project, family and type. You know, maybe there's a description or a manufacturer, whatever the case may be. And again, let's include that count and maybe the cost as well. And we'll sort on the family and type. So let's not itemize every single instance. So this is giving us a bunch of individual line items here. Let's take that. Okay, that's fine. Why is that?
I have a question.
Sure.
Can you export this as an Excel sheet?
Yes. Yep.
In such a way that the Excel keeps on.
Right. 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 So we can take this. Right. So we could take this and here under export, we scroll down this list. There's an option for schedule, and we can export this out as a delimited text file. So let me put this where I can find it. Okay, and there's some options there. I typically just take the defaults. It's a tab delimited file. Okay, so that's all good. And when I open Excel, and let's see if I can drag and drop it. Yeah. So I can just drag and drop that into an Excel, and it gives me all that same information. Okay. It's not a live link with Revit. So what I've done in the past, if I want to do some other calculations or analysis on this, is just have one tab here that is my information that I get directly out of Revit, okay, and then set another tab up here, and just set any calculations up here that refer back to this tab. So if my information coming out of Revit changes, I just drop it back in that initial tab again, copy paste it in that tab, and everything updates. So it's not a live link, but you can get the information out and use it to do some, manipulate that data however you need to. Right. And I think there's some third-party tools out there that might help you make that connection a little more smoothly.
And then I have a question about the sheets itself. Can I grab a rendering?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So anything. So here we are on the sheet. Anything in this browser from any of this stuff from sheets up, schedules, legends, all that stuff, I can just drag and drop on this sheet. So here's that rendering we saved earlier. I can just drag it and drop it on that sheet. It gives it that same, it'll give it that view title, which I can pick and move that around.
Can we scale those elements in the sheet without affecting the project? Meaning the floor plan.
Right. So this floor plan is too big for this sheet. Okay, right now it's at an eighth of an inch equals a foot. I can change this, and let's just try it at 1/16 of an inch, and there it looks like it's going to fit on that sheet. Okay. So I just changed the scale of that that one view. Okay, and the way the annotations work. If I put text in that is set up to be 3/32 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch or whatever that plotted size is, it's that annotation is always going to be that same size regardless of the scale of my drawing. Okay, so let me show you what I mean by that. So here in my floor plan, right now, I'm at 1/16 of an inch, and you can see how big those room names look, right? And they're probably 3/32 or 1/4 of an inch or whatever they are. If I change this to 1/4, it looks like my room names got smaller. I'm just at a bigger scale. The room name is, when I plot it, it's going to be the same size. It's just my drawing's at a bigger scale. Any other questions? I have got through most of the material that I plan to get through, and hopefully people had other classes, and that's why we've kind of gone down through the afternoon. So if anyone has any questions, anything they want to look at, we can do that. Do have again, I'll put these back up. Some resources there. Seek there, that search takes you directly there, but there's the website for that. Autodesk Exchange is, I think of it as like iTunes for Autodesk plugins. So, you know, that'd be the place to look for a connector for a spreadsheet tool, that kind of thing. There's just all kinds of little plugins that you can add there. Again, this is, you know, some of the courseware that we typically teach, and again, that the book there that is a good reference. So it's my email. Feel free to email me. That I try and respond fairly promptly, and any feedback you can give us, would appreciate that. As we do more of these, we can improve and really give the students what they're looking for, what they want to get out of these. Okay. And I can share the PowerPoint if you want any of those website links.
The recording will be is available this time around, and we can add the PowerPoint in the draft. Are you passing those to?
I can pass them out, yeah.
I could contact my students who were in the morning and send them this scan.
I can email it to you.
That would be great. That would be great. If you can email me the form, then I can email them so they can respond to you directly.
I told our coordinator, I said, they're all students. They're all going to be there with laptops. I'll probably be able to do email better than paper.
Right.
She said, I want to do paper. Said,
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
And I can email it to you.
Sure.
No problem.
Very good.
I left time for questions.
Yeah. I feel like some of the students were either too beginners or certainly a little bit more advanced that they need to go. So that's my feeling.
Okay.
You never know. There's so much to digest
Yeah.
at once. And certainly will take that into account for the next one. So I will make the adjustment that I'm necessary.
Yeah.
It's kind of a marathon, 8 hours marathon.
It is a lot to take in.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. and I think it would be good as we do this more.
Right.
You know, let's fine tune some of the timing here. And I think, you know, more on some subjects, less on some subjects.
That's so difficult. Right. I
I'll
really would
work.
like your advice.
Yeah, I'll work with you on it.
Yes. It's very, very difficult to get the right combination.
Yeah.
I work a lot moving stuff for Revit.
So if you put your email on there, our coordinator will send you an email with a little online quiz that you can take. And you get we'll email you back a certificate suitable for framing. So if that, you know, if that has any value, you know, we really just want the feedback. And
we should have an email should go out beforehand about how to properly install it. So pressing the instantly install. Okay.
You have installation programs?
Yeah, well, at first I was doing Revit 2013, and so I was trying to do things that he was talking about. I can't do that.
Didn't find
I
it.
can't do that. So I think, right?
I'll leave it right here. It's just stuff.
So, I've been doing some stuff, so I and so then what happened was, if you click the install now button, you install stuff in the black libraries. So then you have to go back and install the libraries. So it'll tell you to go back and install the libraries.
You don't have libraries, you have to go back here.
Well, then they don't. Well, at first you assume that you would install the library because you would press install. So. You may think when I say install something, so you install the whole thing.
Yeah,
I've been wrong before.
that's logic. It's not necessarily programmer logic. Thank you.
Oh, I just wanted to ask, I don't know if we covered this towards the beginning, and I just wanted to know this basic because it was early. But whenever you want to make, like, do furniture plan, do a plan that has dimensions, do you just copy and paste?
To
With the floor plan?
to create, we talked about it a little bit. So to create multiple floor plans, you could come in here to floor plan
And then just make another one?
and it's, if you've already got a level 1, it's not going to show you level 1 unless you uncheck this, and then you can pick level 1. You can also just come in up here if you've got one that's already started that you like. You can. We didn't really talk about this, but you can duplicate it here. And duplicate with detailing will copy any annotations. So if you already got your rooms tagged and stuff, you can just duplicate it that way too.
Okay. Because I didn't know if that would change, like if you put furniture into the main one, would that change any
Well,
of the rest of them?
furniture is a model element, so it's part of the model.
Okay.
Okay, so it's going to show up everywhere. Okay?
Alright.
But what you can do is, like this one that has the dimensions, maybe I don't want the furniture on, so I can go to my
change the
visibility
graphics.
graphics override here, and I
Gotcha.
can say turn the furniture off. So now my furniture is gone. But
Okay.
when I look at one of these other ones, well, the furniture's already off there, but like a finish plan.
Okay.
You get the idea.
Yeah.
It can be on in one and off in the other.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because we're doing floor plans, and I was thinking of doing like a main floor plan, do a dimension plan, then do furniture plan. And so I've had a little experience with construction documents.
Yeah.
I interned with a construction management company.
Okay. Yeah.
So I looked
Where
at
at?
them a lot.
Where at?
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay.
So the
What was the
company
name of the
was
firm?
Barnes Walcast.
Familiar.
Yeah, they're not a huge firm, but they're not too small either. But so I kind of understand a little bit more
Yeah,
about
you've
the sections
seen-
and
you've
details
seen
and the
good-
annotation.